I'm Ernesto, and I'm showing you this very first look of this amazing application called Cambraic. So what is Cambraic? Cambraic is a solution based on AI that allows you to produce your own personalized app stack. And the important thing here is that Cambraic is open. You can, at any point where you're developing your own apps, you can bring your cases, your apps out of the system, and you can go on using your favorite vibe coding app, or you can deploy it anywhere. But the main concept is to bridge this gap that we have between code generation and then actually using the app. So let's see some examples here. So I'm going to put here perhaps this AI plant identifier. So you'll see that I pick this template and then I have here a prompt. So here I have kind of a widget that allows me to convert this prompt into an actual app. And the nice thing about this is that if I keep going with my app or I change anything here on the source, I can bring it back into the prompt. And if I want to, I can download this prompt and bring it over into Cloud Code or any other tool that I want. Okay, so this saying that, do I want to use the camera? Yeah, why not? Hello. So here I am, and let's see, probably I don't want to use my own screen here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload an image that I may have around here. And if not, let's just fetch something. So let's say rhododendron, why not? So this is a nice image. So I'm going to download this, save image as, I'm going to store in downloads plant. It's a plant that we're going to identify. And now I'm going to upload the downloaded anonymous plant, and let's try this out. So there's a loader here, and there you are. This is amazing. Based on the image, the plant appears to be a rhododendron. So what happened here is that the prompt was converted into a full-fledged app now that is not only an app that also connects to AI endpoints that we provide through Cambraic. And that means you can produce very basic apps or very interesting apps that connect to tools like identifying an image or understanding what's happening on that image. So this is amazing. Now let's click on this open standalone app. So this is kind of our one click to deploy, and I'll explain you a bit more of this deploy. So what happens here is that I have now the same app running on a tab, and then I can bookmark, I can just pin that. The important thing to mention here is this is not an app that's moving over to a cloud infrastructure. So this is living on your local environment. That means it's secure. You're not sharing your apps that you produce with Cambraic anywhere. They just live here. If you want to, of course, you can bring them out into a more sophisticated vibe coding pipeline or some other tools. If you're working in a small company, probably you can bring this over to your IT department and then have them deploy that to the whole organization. So we're working also on ways in which you can share this, just like you would share an Anthropic artifact, and then have a broader community using it. But the fact is that most of the software as a service apps or micro software as a service apps, micro SaaS, that you use are for personal use. I've seen many times that I'm working on Google Drive or on an Excel sheet, working on something that the single user that's going to be using that is myself. So if I want to have a better experience than trying to figure where are things on my spreadsheets or my Google Drive, then I can just work with this. So let me just switch and show you some other examples. So I'm going to turn off now Firefox, and let's move on now over here. Let me show you one of the things I was working on. I was testing also the meta context of our different apps, and I built this metadata tester. So what it does is you put a URL and it will scan all of the meta tags that you have here and tell you what's the status. And if you're missing some of them, it's going to give you kind of a feedback or diagnostics. So I can have here from ScrubTube, one of the apps that I launched last week that allows you to see a YouTube channel or videos without ads and runs also locally. There's, of course, SyncMagic, which is our fantastic edtech solution for amazing experiences, classroom experiences, live classroom or live class experiences. That's just, all across Latin America now working. There's another app here for calculating taxes. So all of these are scanned, and you see that you get a nice image based on the what they find in the meta tags. So if I go now to Cambraic here on my Chrome environment, I have here my local apps running. So I can go into my apps directory and I can show you some interesting things. So for instance, I have this flywheel that is a nice example of a random picker. So I basically what I wanted is to put here some names and then spin the wheel and get a random name marked here. So an important thing to talk about is that all of the source of these micro apps is a single file. So it's not built on React or Vue or some sophisticated multiple folder environment, but it's based on vanilla flavored JavaScript with HTML with CSS, nothing else. And of course you can copy this and bring it over. If you want to deploy into a more complex environment, you can just copy this and go ahead. Let's just try something here out of nothing. I'm going to click on new app. Let's make a test. Here's my empty test, and let's make a basic app for store my ideas and retrieve them later. So you see, I'm not putting a prompt here. I'm just putting an intent, which is kind of a human way of expressing what you want. So let's see what happens if I click on here, and then I just want to show you the kind of the bidirectional way in which you can work with Cambraic. So now I'm going to generate an app. Once I have the app, I can okay, there it is. I have this amazing idea. And then add idea. So it doesn't work, then I come over here, say improve, not storing ideas. Fix this. Probably this is also based on the context that we were passing over to our LLM backend. So but let's see now if this second iteration works well. Otherwise, I'll show you some other thing. But the important thing is you have the first intent to app process, then you can improve here. Let's say my best idea, and now it is there stored, and I can see my idea, and then I get a system prompt here, and I can edit the idea. That's nice, and of course I can delete it. So okay, this is ready. So now, what if I want to think about the apps and the prompts as single or pairs of code? Because today the prompt is as important as the source code. So I can see this and get lost on all this impossible to understand code, or I can just ask Cambraic to turn the app into a prompt. And this means that if I have a single page app or anything, I can bring it over here into the source, I can paste it, and I can transform that into a source code. So you see that this is now called the Idea Vault, and it created an objective, create a single page web app that lets users write, store, view, edit, and delete short ideas. So I just started with a basic, very basic sentence, and then I came with this whole complex prompt that I can use anywhere. So this is fantastic. And now let's just click, and now the Idea Vault is just here. Hello there. So there's one idea, second, and third, and so on. And if I reload this page, all of this data is persistent now. It's running on my local storage. That means it runs on my own browser. This ID is only running on my computer, on my browser. And in the future, we're going to be working as well in how do you share different things here. So now, for now, the most basic way of sharing this is just go ahead, copy here. Let's say I move over to some other place, like here, and I'll start here, file, Vault, and then I create. Go to source, paste this, and then I have my app here. It's already working. I can just open it up, pin it, store it, do anything that I want. Of course, I can just go over here and just pick the prompt, and as well, I can pick the prompt here, and maybe I want to do my own personalized idea vault. So I don't want to have the same version that I had here, but I just going to pick the prompt and bring it over here. So let's see this other variant of idea vault, now based on the more complete prompt. So it's pretty similar. So very nice, add idea. And there it is. You see, it's a kind of different interface. So it decided to, instead of putting the icons here, they are based on icons, and I can just basically do the same. So really thrilling to share this with you, and I hope you can join us here at Cambraic. And now let me just go to the other side of things. We are right now launching this for a small community. If you're seeing this video, you're part of this small community, perhaps of my own LinkedIn network. And we need kind of see how do we move forward. So Cambraic is also based on this concept that there was this geological era where there was a life explosion. So now we're leaving this Cambrian explosion because the AI asteroid just landed. It's kind of a mix-up between the extinction of dinosaurs and the actual, explosion of life. It's a different era, actually. But the point is, we don't want to be in the same space as vibe coding apps. So we don't want to have another app development experience. What we want is less sophisticated users to be able to deploy their own personalized app stacks. So we don't offer a toolkit, we offer the end results of this toolkit. So we're not going to give you a hammer with a nail and let you then go ahead and pinch your finger. What we want is you to have a nail nailed on a wall, and then you put a frame, and then you have the end result. That's the goal. So for the moment, there are no hosting fees, we don't have a deployment process. You've seen the whole pipeline going on, and the potential is huge. It's amazing because we're talking about the end users of all of those coders that are using today vibe coding to accelerate app development. So we don't want to step there and have a bottleneck. I've been the bottleneck for years. Some of the apps that I've launched in the last months or years, it's being always on me to be able to move forward. And we don't want that anymore. We want our users just to go ahead, get their apps, and maybe share them between a group, and then use them. So it has a huge potential. We're seeing, we're tapping into a market that's, down the stream from all these applications. So if we kind of compare, most of the app platforms that you are familiar with have a deploy layer. So we want to try to make this deploy, as said before, a local and very simple to use. And if at all, maybe peer-to-peer. We don't want anyone to have to suffer a database or a server or a deployment process, and definitely not the costs associated with that deployment, because that's it starts growing, and then you don't know why you're paying that amount at some point, and then you figure that there are apps that are consuming these prices. So we still have the challenge of how do we define the cost exactly, because we're consuming tokens. But I'm sure we're going to figure this out. There are many solutions now. We're working now with open source, OpenAI. So this means that if you want to deploy Cambraic in your own organization, probably you're going to be able to set up your local server, your local LLM, and then you'll get free from having to send any information to the cloud at all. So you can run that on your own premises, on your own intranet. And this is an expectation of how do we think this is going to be growing. We will see. I mean, we're fine. We don't need to super grow here and burn cash like crazy. This is there People is already using it, so I don't think it's going to be, something we need to push a lot. And I prefer to let it, grow organically than, try to go crazy. But we need support, we need help from our backers. And the proposal now that I have for you is we're still don't know how this is going to come out. I'm thinking of many things, but for the moment we need to pay for tokens and to keep on going with the development of Cambraic. So our offer for these early backers is to have lifetime access. So you just do one-time payment of whatever you want to contribute, and you can use Cambraic forever as long as it is online and we keep going on. Anytime we have priority features, we're going to be releasing to this community first. The top backers that we can engage can opt in to become early investors as well. We'll figure out also that process. And of course, we want you to be an evangelist and support the vision that we're putting here into Cambraic. So as I said before, this contribution helps to power the AI generation tokens. Keep on going. We want to expand also our team. And behind Cambraic, there's a team of Think Magic. Of course, I really want you to have a look and visit as well. Think. This is an amazing platform. I've been working on that for already 3 years. And it's just making a dent in the educational community here in Latin America and else in the world. So if you want to become a backer, you're going to be clicking on this button. It'll bring you to our Stripe. So for now, we're hosted by Think as a support channel. And you'll see that you can contribute whatever you want. You can give us $1, $10, or anything. So the only thing is this is a single payment. It's not a subscription. And as you see, among the main ideas behind this application, this Cambraic tool, there's this idea that we don't want to pay any more subscriptions. I know I have other businesses that are based on subscription, but this is the way the world is changing now, and we see that very clearly. And it's not precisely, I'm just saturated of videos of people telling you that they coded something for 3 weekends maybe on their spare time, and then they're producing a crazy MRR based on a few hours of work. Why are we having this kind of channel that could be just bypassed if we just go and bring our apps into existence? Why do I have to pay someone to and make really a gross or huge MRR based on nothing, based on something that I can myself vibe code? So this is kind of the concept. Well, let me just get back here. And I was surprised to that I was brought into into the camera here, but it's a great opportunity also to say hello and have nothing else to say. I'm going to just enjoy the rest of the day playing around with these tools. Okay, see you next time. Bye.